Don't forget to like and share this broadcast with your friends and family on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. Let all of your friends and family know to subscribe so that you know when the Center of Hope is going live.
Welcome to Real Talk, and I'm your co-host on tonight, Bishop Mitchell Taylor. And if it's Monday and it's 9 p.m., you know what time it is. It's time for Real Talk. Listen, as you're coming into the virtual space on tonight, I need you to hit that share button and let folks know that Real Talk is on the air. We got something special for you on tonight, so you don't want to miss what God is going to be saying and what we're going to be sharing and experiencing with you on tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out and worshiping with us on Sunday, 11 o'clock at the Greater Highway Deliverance Temple. My God, we had a tremendous move of God on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And if you missed 9 o'clock, our virtual worship experience, 9 o'clock, right here on Facebook and YouTube, go back and get Sunday morning's message. It'll bless your life. And then, of course, 11 o'clock, we had another tremendous high time of deliverance. And those of you that were there Sunday, you were experiencing the overflow, the overshadowing, the afterglow of what happened Friday night in the one night revival and healing and deliverance service. And Bishop said that he was calling for a one night revival and healing service, and for a Friday night, this past Friday night. And normally, you know, when you have a service like this, especially if you're going to do the praying, you would adjust your sermon or your message or your word from the Lord so that you'll have enough strength to actually pray and minister to the people, and have enough time to pray and minister to the people. And so we were in the office, and Bishop said, yeah, I'm going to go out. We're going to just go and exhort the people a little bit, and then we're going to pray for everyone in attendance. And so we went out. It wasn't like that at all. When we finally gave the service over to Bishop preached an entire anointed message from the Lord, and preached until there was nothing else to say. I mean, preached until people were being healed in their seats, delivered in their seats. Breakthrough was happening in their seats. And by the time we got to the prayer line, and Bishop laid hands on every single person in attendance on Friday night, Bishop Liston Page Sr., a living legend and anointed man of God, leader, progenitor, founder, overseer, advocate, archbishop, if he wanted any title he wants to have in this ecclesiastical structure, he could take that title on today. And not only the title, but he is the embodiment of a living epistle. And so I want to give a strong note of acknowledgement and congratulations and appreciation for Bishop Liston Page Sr. Thank you so much, Barbara Waring, for sharing the broadcast on tonight. Everyone, hit that share button. Let people know that we're on the air. I need everyone, as you're coming in, hit the share button and tag as many people as you can. I see Mother Shirley Shea joined us, Mother Eunice joined us, Melissa, Barbara Waring, Yvonne East, Justina. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us on this evening. Deacon William Collier is here on tonight. Sammy Walk is with us on tonight from Paterson, New Jersey. Mother Sutton is here with us on tonight. So many with us on this evening. And so we thank you so much for sharing with us, those of you on Facebook. And then there's a whole nother group of you on YouTube. Thank you, all our YouTubers. Now, listen, if you're not following me on Facebook, I need you to do it right now. Take your phone, take your device right now and go to Facebook. Go to Facebook, and while you're on Facebook, I want you to like and follow the page. Like and follow the page on Facebook right now. Like and follow the page, and you will find that there's a tremendous repository of ministry gifts and ministry dialogues aggregated specifically to be a blessing in every area of your life. Intelligent, informed, and anointed dialogue has been created. It's a tremendous repository that I would encourage all of you to be a part of. Adrian, bless you for joining us. Lacey Lace, good to see you on this evening, joining us on this evening. Missing you in our Sunday services at 11 o'clock in Harlem. But I'm looking for everybody to be out on this Tuesday night. If you can, we'll be at the Greater Highway Deliverance Temple, 6:30. Bishop will be preaching the Bible study, and we're looking forward to a tremendous time as we're getting acclimated into being regimented into our weekly and midweek services and our Sunday services, and putting everything back on track and in place so that when we open up the Center of Hope International, listen, I did a walkthrough on on this morning. My mind was blown. Listen, my mind was blown. They got the whole wood floor installed in the sanctuary. The wood flooring has been installed. Then they started doing the marble columns on the side, all of the columns that was in the oak wood veneer. We had oak veneer on the columns with the brass corners. So we've changed that style now. We put marble stones on the columns, beautiful, and new LED lighting in the sanctuary and ceilings, and they're going to be rewiring all new digital equipment. The sanctuary will be set up for a gigantic video, audio recording studio, and so artists that want to do your live recordings and have everything tight and in-house separated, unlimited digital recording capacity, both video and audio, Center of Hope International, that's going to be the place to do your session and do your recording. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And we got to get back open. Thank you, Trent Trailer from Detroit. Amen. Bless you, Detroit, Michigan. We got to get back open because, people, in our community, they miss that building being open and active and people going in and out almost 12 to 16 hours a day, every day of the week. And we certainly want to get back open, and we're working towards it, and we're getting there, and we're going to get there. I want to dedicate this program on tonight to a couple of people. Number one, my grandson, Kamari Collier. Kamari, I want to let you know that I'm dedicating this broadcast to you on tonight. And Kathleen Mayton, bless you. And to your family, to the Collier family, I'm dedicating Real Talk to you on tonight. Also, sending my prayers and my love out to my sister, Pastor Sabrina McDaniel in North Carolina, sending my love and my prayers and sharing the victory testimony that she's sharing on today and this week. And so our love and our prayers go out to the Lord's Church, our sister church, and my brother, Bishop Eric A. McDaniel, the Lord's Church, both North and South. Also, Our prayers are going out to our dear mother, all of the mothers on our mother's board, but on tonight, particularly our dear mother Elaine Ames. We are praying for our dear mother Elaine Ames, who is walking with her son and her family, who is on life support in critical condition. And I was there to pray with him and the family on Sunday, on this past Sunday. And so, Mother Elaine Ames, you know I love you, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you and for your family. And my secretary, I still call her my secretary, my administrative assistant, Tracy Stevens, she flew back in to be with her mom and her brother, Christopher Ames, who we're, praying for the family and for their strength as they are making a very critical decision. And I'm just believing God to give them the strength to accept the will of God, accept his plan and his direction, and whatever God says, we submit to his divine will on today. So our prayers are going out to our mother Elaine Ames and Tracy Stevens, and of course Christopher, who is laying in the hospital. I got a chance to pray for him on Sunday. And then my prayers go out to the Mount Olive Baptist Church, where my good friend, Reverend Dr. Franco Harris, is pastoring. He just lost his mentor, his pastor, Pastor James Bronwell, who was the pastor of that church and was responsible for putting Franco, before he retired and went south, and knew he was sick and struggling in his health, but he saw a vision for his church, and he saw in Franco Harris a tremendous ministry gift. I know, because he's traveled with me all around the country and internationally, and he's a tremendous man of God. But his mentor, Pastor James Barnwell, has gone home to be with the Lord. And I want the Mount Olivet Baptist Church, and I want Dr. Franco Harris to know that my prayers are with you. Reverend Barnwell had called me, and we've had conversations about the church and about Pastor Franco, and about how proud he was and how at peace he was to know that he had people like myself and others that were there to help guide him in his matriculation in ministry and pastoring, and coming into his own in pastoring that great church. So our prayers are going out to Lady Barnwell and to the whole family, the Barnwell family, in their loss of this great man of God. And so let's be in prayer. And then my nephew, Rick Figaro, is celebrating his first pastoral anniversary tonight. And I couldn't be there on this evening, but he's celebrating his first pastoral anniversary on tonight. And I want you to know, Rick, I am so proud of you. And I'm going to be sending you a gift and an offering to bless you and to let you know how much your uncle, Mitchell Taylor, appreciates you and your ministry and your walk with God as you succeed your father, you and your sister, in taking the New Life Cathedral to higher heights and deeper depths in God. So I'm excited about that on tonight. And so these are some of the things I want to bring to your attention on this evening. Also, thank you so much for reminding me. Also, if you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, like us and follow us on Instagram, and follow us, or subscribe to rather, our YouTube page, where there is a tremendous amount of ministry gifts. I call it a repository of ministry gifts there that will bless your life. And then listen, I told you on Tuesday night, we'll be at the Greater Highway Deliverance Temple this Tuesday night at 6:30. 6:30, the Bible study begins. 6:30. Now, there's 12 noon prayer. The church is open for prayer at 12 noon on Tuesday. 12 noon on Tuesday at the Greater Highway Deliverance Tabernacle. And then we're back for service on Tuesday evening. And the prayer, I think the church opens again for prayer at 6. And then the service begins, the Bible study begins at 6:30 on Tuesday evening. Then Wednesday morning, everybody say Wednesday morning. Put in the comment section, Wednesday morning word. Join me every Wednesday morning for the Wednesday morning word on Zoom. This is becoming a very popular platform for us to really share the word of the Lord. And so I want to encourage you to join us every Wednesday morning. The virtual sanctuary opens up at 5 a.m. And I come on with a word from the Lord at 6 a.m. sharp. I wasn't on this past Wednesday, but I want you to know that I am back and I am here, and I will be on this Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. I want 100 people to meet us there on Zoom on Wednesday morning for the Wednesday morning word. You know, there's a scripture I want to read, the highlight on tonight in Psalms 107. And it starts out, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from the hand of the enemy." And then verse number 8 says, "Oh, that men would give thanks to the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men, for he satisfies the longing soul and fills the hungry soul with what? With goodness." And then I love this verse 20. "He sent his word and healed them and delivered them out of all of their destructions." And then he comes back to the way he began and said, "Oh, that men would give thanks to the Lord for what? For his goodness." And I wanted to read that because I wanted to encourage our mother Elaine Ames. I want to encourage our brother Kamari. I want to encourage our sister Tracy. I want to encourage those that are, you know, believing God. Our sister Sabrina McDaniels. I want to encourage you that all we need is a word. He sent his word and it did what? It healed them. And I love that on today. Now, if Bishop Page was here with us on this evening, he's trying to get in because he's on the West Coast and we're trying to get him situated in the studio there on the West Coast, but he'll be coming in a minute or so. But in the meantime, I want to talk about what we want to talk about on this evening. And we wanted to talk about transformation, but not from the conventional thinking of transformation, but looking at transformation from the perspective of cause and effect. And oftentimes it takes traumatic circumstances to bring about transformational opportunities. The reality is most of us are pushed into the next level of life and living as a result of some episodic experience or something that you have gone through, something that was unplanned, unscripted, unrehearsed, unprepared for, but it hit your life like a ton of bricks. And, and ladies and gentlemen, in full disclosure, some things hit us and hit us from a blind side. And some things we planted it in our lives and watched it grow and matriculate into what we now look at as trauma. But the reality is, these episodic adventures, these things that are happening in our lives, isn't it amazing how it pushes us closer to God and puts us in this new path? And that's why I read Psalms 107, because 107, buried in Psalms 107, is a whole message of trauma and how trauma is being transformed into a transmission that actually brings about a transformation and triumph. Now watch it, because it talks about thanksgiving to the Lord for his great works of deliverance, right? And it cites for us in so many different places where the children of Israel experience some form of trouble. And when you get in, I want you to talk about, and we talked about this earlier, but I want you to understand, when you come in, we'll talk about this more, but I want the real talkers to understand, in Psalms 107, it talks about them wandering in the wilderness in a desolate way. But here it is in verse number 4, they found no city to dwell in. And so it's analogous of a people that are wandering in a wilderness state, and they found no city to dwell in, meaning they had no dwelling place, they had no rest, they had no peace. And so they found no city to dwell in, hungry and thirsty. Their soul fainted in them. But watch this, what happened? Verse 6, they cried out to the Lord. They cried out to the Lord in their what? In their trouble. Trouble has a way of pushing you to your point of transformation. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what we want to talk about on tonight. How trouble in our lives has actually, trouble and trauma has actually become transformational to the believer. Transformational. My cousin, Reverend Robert Taylor, has joined us on tonight. Bless you, Reverend Robert Taylor from the Galilee Baptist Church in Bayside. Trouble has become transformational. And so in Psalms 107, we see a few different instances. Verse 6, they cried out to the Lord in their trouble. And here's what happened. He delivered them out of their distresses. And here's what they did. He led them forth by the right way. He led them forth. He delivered them out of their distresses and led them forth the right way. Anytime there's a cry made to the Lord, there's a course correction. And in that course correction, he leads us in the right way. I don't know who I'm talking to on tonight. In the course correction, real talkers, he leads us in the right way. Read it for yourself in the text. Verse number 7, that they may go to a city. Why? For a dwelling place. So they cried to the Lord. He delivered them and then directed them in the right way, course correction, and then gave them a dwelling place, an assigned place. Listen, I'll prove to you that trouble and trauma will get you to your place of transformation. Remember the man that was blind and Jesus made a mud pie out of spittle and dirt on the ground and put spit in his eye and mud in his face and told him to go wash at the pool of Siloam. As long as he was blind, as long as he was doing nothing about the blindness, nothing was being done about the blindness, it didn't have a pathway for transformation. But he wasn't blind for naught. Listen what the scripture says in John chapter 9. And when the disciples were passing by, they asked the question, who sinned, this man or his parents? And we'll get some clarity from Bishop Page when he comes in. Who sinned, this man or his parents? And he said, no one sinned. This man is in this condition so that the glory of God could be manifested in his life. There was a course correction that was about to take place. And when he spit in his eye and put mud in his face, it caused him to become uncomfortable. I would just assume if anybody put something in your eyes. And what did he do? He sent him to Siloam to wash, Siloam being sent place. And I believe that sometimes, oftentimes, more than most, God will use trauma to get us to transport to our sent place of transformation, place of triumph. Our bishop is here on tonight. Bishop.
Bishop Mitchell G. Taylor.
Well, listen, man, I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous because you left me, and I'm not going to lay on it too much, but you left me hanging here on the East Coast of irony, and you're there, exploring the canals of the West.
Listen, I was on the beautiful campus of Stanford University all day today.
Wow.
It was a tremendous experience. And I'm going to tell you about it. I got some things cooking out here. I'm going to tell you about it. But listen, man, I am happy to be back with the Real Talkers. And of course, you, my best friend in the entire world. I didn't mean to hold you up tonight, but
you ain't hold us up.
I heard you talking about this blind man.
Yes.
I heard you talk about this blind man that was blind from his mother's womb. And the disciples asked him, asked Jesus, who sinned? Was his parents sinning? Did he sin? Of course, he couldn't have sinned if he was blind from birth. So it really was not a question about him as a person sinning, because if he was born like that from birth, then of course it couldn't have been him. Now, of course, the onus could have been on his parents, but in the Jewish thought, the Judaic thought, when a child was sick or afflicted, had a blemish, that meant that child was paying for the transgressions of their parents. And they got that from the law, that the iniquities of the fathers would follow the children to the third or fourth generation. That's biblical. So that was remember, the Jewish mindset. Now, the Jews, who the disciples were, practicing Judaism in the New Testament, they didn't have the New Testament that we have. They had the Older Testament. So they were still practicing the law and the oral traditions of the rabbis known as the Mishnah. So there's a lot there in that whole text that Jesus has to push back against.
Right. And so, as we talked about earlier, we touched on it a little bit about how transformational trouble can be. And I was just walking through Psalms 107, which starts out with a beautiful praise, but the caption talks about great deliverance in thanksgiving to the Lord for his great works of deliverance. And throughout that text, we see a didactic teaching about what happens when we get in trouble, but then we cry out to the Lord and we experience course correction, course correction. And just to kind of cherry pick it just a little bit to get you into it, in verse number 1, oh, give thanks to the Lord, right? But then in verse number 2, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. And he goes into whom he has redeemed from the hand of the enemy, gathered out of the lands, from the east, from the west, from the north, from the south. They wandered in the wilderness. We're now going through this summary, a desolate way. They found no city to dwell in. It could be analogous of what we know the children went through and what have you, and having no peace, not finding that assigned place, that mano, the assigned place. But then hungry and thirsty, their souls fainted in them. They cried out to the Lord, where? In their trouble. And so we're talking about how many times has trouble become the catalyst for transformation? We don't like it. We don't like to make change. We don't make change on our own a lot. Sometimes it takes so many different points of, variation in order to get us to change. I mean, I hate to say it. There's a lot of things that bring us to that point of change and transformation. And trouble, if we were naming that tune, trouble would be number 1 on that list. Because I've been alive long enough now to tell you and to tell the real talkers that trouble has been transformational in my life.
Well, that's the whole book of Job is about a man who is upright, who fears God, who walks away from evil. He's committed totally to God, but yet it is in his trouble that he learns about God in a much deeper way. We call it theodicy. It's him trying to wrap his mind around, I'm good, I'm holy as much as possible, I'm upright as much as possible. In fact, there's no one in my region like me. There's no one in the earth like me. There's no one that could be compared to me. But yet, trouble comes into my life. And do I deal with the trouble? Do I charge God foolishly? Do I argue with God? Do I complain about it? Or do I just deal with it? Do I just handle it? And I think I answered, I guess, that question because we've talked about this so many times about Job. I think I answered the question in some of the statements that he made. Job went from one extreme to the next because he also said, if I could see you, God, I would fill my mouth with argument. I would ask you, why did you allow these things to happen? But then on the other hand, he says to his wife in a much earlier part of the narrative, do we just take the good of God and not also deal with God's adversity? Then he says things like, he slays me, but yet will I trust him? I mean, so trouble is a part of the life of the believer and our faith practice. And looking at Psalm 107, my superscription says, God satisfies the longing soul. God satisfies the longing soul. And I guess that superscription comes from that one verse, oh man, in verse 5, hungry and thirsty,
verse 9,
their soul fainted in them.
and then
verse number 9.
Number 9, right. Yeah.
For he satisfieth the longing soul and filleth the hungry soul with goodness. So trouble should produce a hunger. It should produce an appetite. It should produce a longing. The issue is, do we know how to satisfy the appetite or to fulfill the longing? And in most cases, what we subscribe to as self-care is much more destructive than waiting on God to fill us and to comfort us the only way God can.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it earlier today, and I guess leading up to this, one of the things you said was that, trouble can be a vehicle of transport. And I thought that was such a powerful statement. You said trouble can be a vehicle of transport. Can you expound on that a little bit?
I personally believe that trouble helps us to know God in a much deeper way if we choose to learn from the trouble, if we choose to have our faith strengthened in the trouble. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but God shall deliver us out of them all. It's amazing we having this conversation on this, because I was at Stanford today and I was talking to a preacher, and he made a statement, and I never thought about the text this way before from the statement he made. Remember when the children of Israel are in bondage, and Moses tells Pharaoh, God has sent me here to tell you to let my people go so they can go and worship. And of course, God hardens the heart of Pharaoh. But Pharaoh says something very interesting. He said, take away the straw that they were making the brick with. But I don't want the quota to change, but take away the straw. What the materials that they were using to make the brick, take away the material. Now, if Pharaoh really knew what he was going to unleash by taking away the straw, he would have allowed them to keep making the brick with the straw. Because watch this. If you take away what I need to make the brick, now I have to tap into what? Creativity. I think what Pharaoh did with Israel by taking away the straw, he unleashed within them ingenuity and creativity. He showed them how to manage, how to strategize, and how to maneuver in trouble.
That's good.
That is what trouble does for us. It unleashes another dimension of creativity. Most of us are making brick without straw. Most of us are trying to manage our lives without straw. Straw is what we need, the ingredient that we need to make the straw. But God says, I'm going to allow the enemy to take what you think you need, and now you got to tap into something much deeper within yourself that you didn't know was there, which was creativity. And if I am made in the image of God, the Imago Dei, I should be able to speak things into existence that have never been without using pre-existing material. So when I look at that text, I'm seeing something very different there. I think trouble helps us find that repository of creativity and thoughts, the skill to strategize. I think it taps into that repository of us being able to find ways to make things work.
And so that's a perfect nexus into that statement that you made, that trouble is a vehicle of transportation. So that's a great nexus into that trouble is a vehicle of transportation. That's powerful. And and I wanted to highlight this on tonight for the Real Talkers on tonight. And I want the Real Talkers, listen, hit that share button and tag as many people as we can. Thank you, Arlene and Uriah, for joining us on tonight. And so people, need to make sense out of things that don't necessarily make sense all the time. And interesting, try not to worry before it's time to worry. I was talking to a gentleman that just celebrated his 79th birthday today. And I said, I got 2 fun facts for you. When someone asks you, number one, how do you feel now that you're 79? He says, well, I had all year to feel it. And now it feels the same. In other words, as soon as you become 78, at 78, you start becoming 79. And by the time you get to that 12th month of your birthday, you've already lived the year to be that next year. So whatever you're feeling now is what you're going to feel when you turn that official number. And the second fun fact is that if you feel good now, you'll feel good later. Anyway, but it's your dad has a birthday coming up, 85 or 86, 85 or 86 in August.
In August,
right?
August 18th.
Yeah, and your mother is July 18th.
July 16th.
July 16th. Okay, July 16th. And matter of fact, why am I thinking July 18th? I'm gonna tell you why I'm thinking July 18th right now. Because the 16th. Oh, right. I don't know why I'm thinking the 18th. The 16th, because it's on a Sunday.
That's right.
It's on a Sunday. We're gonna be celebrating her birthday on the 16th. That's right, on Sunday. So that's an awesome time. Awesome time. And then we have the convocation coming up. The last week in August.
That's right.
Right?
No, July.
Rather. I'm sorry, July. Why am I thinking July? And starting that Tuesday, and with a banquet, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's going to be a tremendous time there at the Glen Point, right? Hilton. No, the Hilton in Hasbrouck Heights.
Correct.
Yes, Hilton in Hasbrouck Heights, New Jersey. And from what I'm hearing, the rooms are selling out. The rooms are almost gone. This is going to be a big convocation this year. It's going to be a big convocation this year. I'm looking forward to it. Bishop, so listen, we're coming down to the end of our Real Talkers narrative. You joined us a little late on tonight, understandably so, and grateful for that. Oh, we've got Bishop Robert Butler, 2 of my favorite preachers. I was just congratulating his bishop on celebrating Pastor Ricky, his first pastoral anniversary. And I think they're having a week of services this week, or either it was Sunday and Monday. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I'm going to send the offering over to celebrate his first pastoral anniversary. Is that right, Bishop Butler? Am I getting this right? Is it tonight or was it Sunday? When is it?
I think it's celebrating. Isn't it for his daughter, Pastor Timony, as well?
It's for both of them. Just tonight, Tim and Rick. Yes. Okay. I knew I was in the right orbit. because I wanted to go to the service, but I had a meeting just before the Real Talker, our Real Talk on tonight, and I knew you was going to be in California, and I had to be here for the first 15 minutes before you got to the platform. So I couldn't be there on tonight. But my love goes out to them at the New Life Tabernacle. They have two great pastors.
They do.
Pastor Rick and Pastor Timothy Figueroa. So Bishop, that's really what we want to talk about tonight. That trouble to transformation. I want to encourage. I mean, we've been going through a lot. This month, our young man in our church, Kamari, my grandson Kamari Collier, had some medical conditions going on, and we're believing God for a medical miracle in his life. And just so many different things that are happening. And but God is a miracle worker. He's a miracle worker.
Man, it's amazing how much trauma we have experienced over the last 3 years. It seems like if it's not one thing, it's another. My drummer, Kevin Moses, had an accident on last night and had to have emergency surgery on his knee on last night. And it seems like it's always something you're hearing about, something, and it's people that are close to us that are going through these changes. And man, I just thank God every day that he keeps us, that he sustains us, that he keeps providing for us, because these are some very difficult times that we live in.
That's true. That is so true. That is so true. And God keeps on bringing us through, and there will be victory for the saints. That's true. There will be victory for the saints. Well, listen, this has been tremendous tonight, Bishop. I don't know about you, but every time I get a chance to engage the Real Talkers and to be a part of this audience, it warms my heart to know that for the last 3.5 years or more now, 3.5. This is July, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years. We have been faithful to this Real Talk platform, and it's just been tremendous. I pray that the people of God are being blessed. Well, they keep on hanging out with us, so I guess when we get down to 2 viewers, then we know it's time to hang up the spurs. But God has been good to us, so we're grateful on tonight. Listen, the ways to give are on the screen. Those of you that are sharing with us on tonight, thank you so much for coming on board. If you'd like to sow a seed on tonight, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, those are the ways to give on tonight. The drummer's knee will heal faster than expected. All right, Prophet, thank you. Thank you. Prophet Butler just said the knee is going to heal faster than we expected. We received that on tonight.
I receive it, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop Butler.
Listen, as you're sowing a seed on tonight, don't forget to earmark your seed as a Real Talker tonight. I believe if any two of you, let me share something with you before I tell you that. Bishop Page said on Sunday, he said, if there's nobody in church, when you come to church, if the building is empty, there should be an expectation to receive something from God. Let me tell you something. And let me show. And the building was certainly not empty. So 2 or 3 gathered, and it certainly wasn't that. But if it was empty, so can you imagine what kind of church we had in there Sunday after that statement? Man, it was something else. It really was. Listen, the ways to give are on the bottom of the screen. As you are giving on tonight, just put done in the comment section so we know that, you know, somebody's supporting our little ministry on tonight as we as we do our best to bring excellence to the body of Christ. Any final remarks and announcements, Bishop?
No, man, I'm just excited about this summer. This has already been a tremendous summer, an awesome summer. And I'm just looking forward with great anticipation what God has in store for us for the next 45 to 60 days. I mean, I am really, really excited that God is going to do some things that he has never done for us before. It's not by accident we see all of the climate change, all of the unrest, you know, all of the uncertainty, all of the conflict, the chaos, the paradoxes. But I think that is all a sign of what is to come. God has something bigger, better, and greater for all of us.
Yes. Thank you, Phoebe, for your seed on tonight. Thank you. Very generous seed on tonight. Thank you for your seed. You're right, Bishop. You're absolutely positively right. Now, let me say this. Tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Well, two times. 12 noon, the church will be open for prayer. 132 East 111th Street, 12 noon prayer. And then we come back at 6 for prayer and then Bible study at 6:30. Wednesday morning, we have the Wednesday morning word at 6 a.m. And then, Bishop, you have your Wednesday night School of the Bible.
School of the Bible, correct.
At what time?
7 o'clock. I'm going to be doing it live from Dallas, Texas this week because, you know, we're an hour behind. Well, in Texas, we'll be an hour behind. I'm 3 hours behind now, but when I get in Texas, I'll be an hour behind. So I'll be able to do the School of the Bible and then go into service right after that.
Awesome. And then Friday night, you have something Friday?
My Friday night encounter. My
Friday night encounter.
Yes, it's gonna be marvelous. I'll be live in Charlotte on Friday, so it's gonna be wonderful.
Awesome. And let me just give these last announcements about the Greater Highway Deliverance Convocation. July 25th starts with a banquet. On Tuesday, July 25th, there are still tickets available. You can go to the Greater Highway Deliverance website and you can do everything online right there. Get your tickets to the banquet. Tickets are just $100. You can't buy tickets at the door. So all of y'all saying, oh, I'm just going to buy a ticket at the door. Nope. There's no tickets being sold at the door. You have to reserve a seat. Okay. And then we continue on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll let you give the lineup of speakers. I know we have
Wednesday night will be Bishop Pat McKinstry from Toledo, Ohio. Thursday will be the Honorable Bishop Paul Sylvester Morton on Thursday night. And then Friday night, our presiding bishop, Bishop Liston Page Sr. That's going to be Founders Night. It's going to be absolutely bananas in there.
Absolutely. Well, listen, that's it. So please register for the convocation. And there it is, ghdministries.org. You can do everything right there, ghdministries.org. All that you need, your convention needs, will be addressed at that website. Okay, well, we did it. There's another one for the books. And I want to thank you, Pastor Thomas, for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Phoebe, for your seed on tonight. Thank you for those 2 seeders on tonight. Amen. And those of you that are watching this after the broadcast is aired, you can sow a seed as well. Yes, Lacey. Oh my God, Bishop Paul Morton. That's right. Yes, you need to be there on Thursday night for that service. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Bishop, we did it. And as I say every time we sign off, walk with the King today and be a blessing. God bless you, Real Talkers.